Hey guys, welcome back to the Cubiverse, and today we have another video of CFOP tutorials on how to make an efficient cross. Now making the cross is the first step of the CFOP method, and many of you might be used to making something called the daisy. So in the beginner's method you make something called the daisy, which is the 4 white edges around the yellow center, but in CFOP that will be very slow. So we make the cross directly instead of doing this and matching the centers and then making the cross. Now for some of you who still use the daisy method, here's how you make the cross. I am going to be explaining this in the short form because we don't want this video to be based on the cross, but we want the efficient tips video. So let's begin. So how you make the cross is very easy. You take the white center on the bottom and then you put in edge pieces according to their color scheme. So blue and green edge go opposite each other, then this one goes here, and then orange always goes opposite red, like that, and then your cross is made. Now that we got that out of the way, here are more than 5 tips to improve your cross. Tip number 1, always solve the cross on the bottom. So I'll give you an example. If you solve the cross on the top, it will be quite slow, like this, and then this one goes like this, and then I'll have to rotate to put it on the bottom and then start with F12. Instead, if I just start on the bottom, just like that, then I don't have to rotate anymore, and then I can go straight into F12. Tip number 2, don't worry about the centers, just solve the cross. Now what I've seen a lot of people do is that they take an edge piece out, then they match it with its center and then insert it. It is very slow and they end up getting quite bad times just because their cross is very slow. Instead, what you can do is don't worry about the centers, just ignore the centers and solve the color scheme correctly on the edge pieces. Here's what I mean. We take this in here because when we align the cross afterwards, this will go here and green will match with it as well, so like this. And then now that we have 2 adjacent edges in, now we know the color scheme. Just insert this opposite to green, and then we just insert this opposite to red, and then align the cross. Tip number 3, always try to make your cross in 8 moves or less. So if I take more than 8 moves, it will exceed 4 or 5 seconds, which will slow me down a lot. So instead, I just figure out the quickest and the simplest solution, which is under 8 moves, and then I solve the cross. Guys, just to give you an example of the 8 move cross, here's an example. So I take this piece which goes in here, just like that. Then I bring this orange piece here and then insert that into the back. And then I just align the cross. And that cross required only 7 moves. Number 4, moving the cross. So moving the cross is something a bit advanced. Not many beginners realize it. So here's an example. So I've done 3 cross edges and now I just have to insert this one. So how the beginner cross would go is like that. I would take it out and then do a F2 to insert it. But instead, for the same case, in the advanced cross or an efficient cross, I would do a D move to bring the slot of the piece in its layer, insert the piece with 1 move, and then align the cross. Tip number 5, use a lot of look ahead in your cross or plan the whole cross. So since there are only 4 pieces, it's easier to plan the whole cross than planning the whole F12 or something like that. So there are only 4 pieces you have to insert. So I'll give you 2 examples. The first example where I didn't plan out the entire cross here. The second example will be when I used good look ahead and planned the entire cross. Another tip is to experiment a lot with your cross solutions. Try and see if you can, look ahead into your first pair. Try and see if you can do it in 5 moves probably. Try all these things. So here's what I mean, alright? Here's what I mean. So for this cross, I noticed that there is a pair here. There is a pair already made. So I should at least try to preserve it. So when I do the normal cross solution without experimenting anything, I just put this in here. This one goes right in there. but then this one goes here, and when I insert it, the pair breaks up. Now instead, for the same cross with the pair, I could do those first two moves, but then at least I could try to preserve it. So it was here. If I did it like this, it would break it up. So I put this pair up there, then brought it there to keep it safe, and then I just did an R2 to insert that and align the cross, and then I have a free pair. Another tip is that you have to use a piece to also easily and quickly insert the other piece which is possible to be inserted. So here's what I mean. For this cross, I can just insert this one here, then I put this one here and get it in, but that takes way too long. Instead, what I could have done is bring this one over this piece, and then when I insert this piece, this will also automatically come in its spot, and then I can just do a quick F to insert it in its place. Another tip is that you should try and do two moves together if they are possible. So here's what I mean. I can insert this one in here, and also this is ready to go. So instead of doing this, I can do both the layers at the same time with my two fingers like this, and then insert this, which will not save much time, but it is still quite helpful. And this tip is kind of optional. The last tip is kind of optional. If you want to use it, you can. So if you're fast at M moves and you get a case like this, you should try and do those M moves. So if you insert it like this, you have to do two moves, but in an M move, you'll just do this and these two moves at the same time, and that completes your cross. Last tip is quite optional, guys, because I'm fast at M moves, so I use it quite a lot, but M move is slower than all the other moves, so it's kind of optional. If you want to use it, you can. If you don't, it's alright. And guys, one bonus tip for you guys. Listen to all these tips in this video. So guys, that is it for today's video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you learned something new today, and also smash that like button if you got helped with an efficient cross. I hope that your cross times will improve from now on. I just hope this video helped you. So that's it for today. Bye guys!